Phil FOMO, thanks for joining in. Cole Palmer for me this game week. Nice. Could be a nice differential this game week. Of course, I don't own Cole Palmer. Not really considering to bring him in. Cole Palmer against Aston Villa. So Aston Villa, they didn't really impress in game week 27. So Cole Palmer might actually be a good option. So I haven't really decided. It's currently on Ekitiki for me, but so the press conferences today didn't really help my decision ahead of game week 29, to be honest. So I'm still a bit undecided on what to do ahead of the deadline. So I have Harry Wilson, Rice, Erling Haaland. At least when it comes to Rice, Arteta said that he was much, much better. But when it comes to Arteta, can we really trust him? Harry Wilson will have to be assessed. Erling Haaland, not confirmed to be fit, not confirmed to miss out. So still some doubts ahead of the flagged players in my team. Harry Wilson, Rice, Erling Haaland. I have a couple of options. I can potentially sell Erling Haaland, bring in Raul Jimenez or Calvert-Lewin, and sell Harry Wilson or Rice to bring in Mo Salah. I might play Wilson or Dewsbury Hall. I think actually considering the fixture that I would start Dewsbury Hall. So Wilson, he might start. He might be taken off early because of the injury. He might only play 20 minutes if they need a goal. So I'm not really sure about what to do with Harry Wilson, to be honest. So I think starting Dewsbury Hall makes sense this game week. Start O'Reilly or Konate. I think I would start Konate and Dewsbury Hall. I'm benching Watkins and Cash this game week. Definitely makes sense to bench Cash if you're going to captain Cole Palmer. So probably the best decision. Will have been terrible recently. Yeah. Salam, how are you? All good. Thanks for joining in. We're at Cooley. News on Haaland. I wish we had more news on Erling Haaland, to be honest. So Cardella said that he was doing better, same as with Rice, but we're at Coley. I'm going to sell Erling Haaland. Should I do a minus for Tarkovsky to Van Dijk or Rice to another midfielder? Ooh. Van Dijk is a really good option going forward. I think I would probably avoid the hit, to be honest. So is Tarkovsky confirmed to miss game week 29? If not, I think I would just start Tarkovsky this game week at home against Burnley. We're at Coley, he can't play. FA Cup is also here. Champions League also. Haaland is already gone. So we're at Coley. So do you have any concrete information about Erling Haaland not starting? That would be really, really appreciated if you post it in the comments. So I have had a quick look on X. Checked the Fantasy Football Scouts page as well, but no confirmation about any of those players definitely missing out or starting in game week 29. Irish Pete Terror, thanks for joining in, debating whether to sell Haaland or Calvert-Lewin for Ekitiki. I think that Calvert-Lewin actually is a really good option going forward. If I sell Erling Haaland, it might actually be to bring in Calvert-Lewin, so I wouldn't sell Calvert-Lewin this game week to bring in Ekitiki. Edwin FIFA, what transfer do you prefer, Haaland to Ekitiki or Rice to one of Tavernier Soboslai? I wish this would be easier for me to answer. I was like thinking about the same question yesterday, to be honest, Edwin. So the thing is that I'm not really sure if Erling Haaland will start. I'm not sure if Rice will start. So of course, if Erling Haaland starts, it's actually a pretty good fixture playing at home against Nottingham Forest. So probably the safest option is to just keep Erling Haaland for now and sell Rice. Sanchez or Verbruggen. start Sanchez or Verbruggen. Definitely start Sanchez if you still have him. I can't really see Brighton keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal. I'm definitely benching Van Hecke this game week myself. So things that Aston Villa doesn't really look good on paper, but as FPL FOMO wrote in the chat a couple of minutes ago, Aston Villa, they haven't really looked good recently. So I think even if you have Rodgers or another Aston Villa attacker in your team, I would still start Sanchez ahead of Verbruggen. There was a guy saying Haaland has the FA Cup and use Champions League. So I will just sell Haaland. Yeah, he might get rested in the Premier League, of course, but yeah, Fixture is good. I might just have to go against Ekitike. I think if you have Calvert-Lewin at the moment, I don't think that he should be sold, to be honest. They have good fixtures. So Leeds, of course, not the best team, but he is kind of a talismanic figure for Leeds at the moment on penalties as well. So using a transfer on selling Calvert-Lewin at this point, I'm not really sure if this is the best option. And so Rodgers out for Semenyo and Django Tara for a -4. I think I would avoid the -4 and only do one of those moves, to be honest. And Django Tara, he's not in a couple of the predicted starting 11s for Brentford as well. So is it possible to only do Enzo Fernandez to Semenyo or possibly Rodgers to Semenyo? Avmac83 chasing rank at 1.6 million, planning on a wildcard in game week 32, which is sell Haaland for Ekitike until a wildcard 32. Also, who is the best captain? It's not Erling Haaland. So this is my reasoning as well. There is a doubt about Erling Haaland's minutes this game week. If you're going to wildcard in game week 32, I think it's actually, of course, there is a risk involved in selling Erling Haaland. He is the most owned player in FPL. He will most probably be one of the players with the highest effective ownership in game week 29 as well. But considering you still have your wildcard, you can easily get him back in for game week 32 if he's fit. So I'm really considering to sell Erling Haaland and shake things up myself. So for me, the option is to actually sell Erling Haaland and bring in someone like Calvert-Lewin and upgrade Rice to Mo Salah, actually. So the thing is, with Harry Wilson, I definitely don't think that he should be sold. It's not like there is a big injury. It's a risk ahead of game week 29, but if he's out for game week 29, he will most probably back for game week 30. So I think it's a Harry Wilson, decent game in game week 30, decent game in game week 31 as well. So Harry Wilson, I will definitely keep him. So my plan is actually to sell Erling Haaland and Rice and bring in. So it's between Calvert-Lewin and Raul Jimenez. I think both of them are good options as well. But considering that I already have Wilson, do I really want to double up on the Fulham attack? Probably not. So leaning towards Erling Haaland to Calvert-Lewin and Rice to Mo Salah. Of course, there's a risk involved, as mentioned, in selling Erling Haaland and Mo Salah. He hasn't really looked that great, but to shake things up, as mentioned, my rank at the moment, 200k. Not bad, not great. Need a couple of differentials going forward. Are you dropping points? Are you dropping points for the two transfers? Yes, it's for a -4. If I had 2 free transfers, I would definitely just do those moves. one of the reasons why I'm a bit reluctant is because it's for a -4. So my other option is to just keep Erling Haaland, do something like Rice to NGI. So really good fixture for Everton playing at home against Burnley this game week. And in game week 30, I can potentially just bench NGI and play Elliot Anderson. So I have a couple of options. Still not 100% sure what I will end up doing. So in the captain poll, Erling Haaland, he is actually the favorite. 64% of the votes, 16% for Ekitiki, and other have 20%. We know at this point, FPL FOMO said in the chat he will captain Cole Palmer this game week. So let me know in the chat if you're going to captain someone else. I had Igor Thiago in the captain option in the poll yesterday. Didn't get many votes. I think it was like 2%, so a couple of votes for Igor Thiago. So let me know in the chat if you're considering to captain Igor Thiago. At the moment, my captain is Ekitiki, and my vice captain is Bruno Fernandes. Not really sure about Bruno Fernandes this game week. I don't really think that playing away against Newcastle is a good fixture for Man United. Check the team. We're at Kohli. I will. Sorry about that. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X, post a picture under my latest post, and we'll get your team up on the screen. Oops. Give me a minute. So this is the team. Dubravka in goal, Sanchez on the bench. There we go. Dubravka in goal. I actually like having Dubravka in, seeing that you have Sanchez. You avoid having Rodgers play against Sanchez, at least. The thing is that I think Chelsea, they have a better chance of keeping a clean sheet, but Dubravka against Everton might be a good punt. In defense, Hill, Gabriel, Tarkovsky, Rice in midfield, Sar, Rodgers, and Bumo. Up front, Igor Thiago, Krupi Jr., and Ekitiki. So a couple of injuries on the bench this game week with Florian Wirtz and Mukiele, and Anderson is also on the bench. I think with this team, I would actually consider benching Hill, starting Anderson, to be honest. Especially seeing that you have Igor Thiago up front, so you'll avoid having Hill play against Igor Thiago. So Anderson, Fulham at home. I think playing at home against West Ham is a decent fixture for Fulham. So the only change I probably would make with this team is to put Hill first on the bench with Anderson in my starting 11. Irish Pete Terry, 60-40. I'm selling Haaland. I'll probably take a -4 for Salah and have triple Liverpool attack. So it will definitely be a differential triple Liverpool attack. It's probably Ekitiki, then Salah, possibly Gakpo as well. He didn't play last game week, Joachim Andersen. No, but he is confirmed to be fit. At least that's what we got on the press conference today. We're not really sure about the condition of Harry Wilson. Didn't get any concrete news about his availability for game week 29, but at least we know that Anderson will be fine. So I think I actually would start Anderson ahead of Hill. The thing is that with Joachim Andersen plays like that, I think that if he's fit, he will start. If not, he will not play at all. So Andersen in the starting 11 with Hill on the bench would be my advice. Of course, it's close. Hill, they can potentially keep a clean sheet against Brentford, of course, but This would mean that Igor Thiago will blank, so they will cancel each other out. -4 for Van Dijk. -4 for Van Dijk, so Anderson to Van Dijk. Check my team. Only way to get Semenyo is to drop points, Rodgers and Enzo out. Or any other suggestions? Let's have a look. I'm sorry, you just actually talked about Tarkowski. I'm not really sure if taking a hit for Van Dijk this game week. So Tarkowski to Van Dijk this game week for a -4. I think I would just start Tarkowski, to be honest. So Fixture can't be much better. Everton, they are actually one of the bookies' favorites to keep a clean sheet this game week. So Tarkowski can pick up defensive contributions and attacking returns. Everton, they are actually second, as you can see in the graphics as well. 44% chance of keeping a clean sheet this game week. So Tarkowski to Van Dijk for a -4. I would not do this game week. Rice, I'd be more tempted to sell Rice, especially considering that he will have a blank game week through one as well. So I'd be more tempted by selling Rice compared to selling Tarkowski this game week. Potentially something like Rice to Iwobi, Tavernier, another option. Sell Rice or Enzo Lefe for Salah. Oh, Enzo Fernandez. I think it kind of depends on how many players you have that will blank in game week 31. If you have like 4 or 5 players that will blank in game week 31, you should probably sell Rice. If you only have a couple of players from Arsenal and Man City, then Enzo Fernandez is probably the one that should be sold. So this is Chris's team. Yeah, that's good enough. Rice to who? This is Chris's team. Raya Ingle double up on the Arsenal defense with Gabriel. Van Dijk is in, Anderson in the starting 11. So solid defense for game week 29. Rodgers, Enzo Fernandez, yellow flagged Harry Wilson, and Bruno Fernandes, who is captain. Up front, Ekitike, Igor Thiago, Erling Haaland, captain. On the bench, Chalobah, Truffer, and Devaney. So I had good points last game week. My rank at the moment is 61k. Nice. So you mentioned a couple of transfers. Any way to get Semenyo in? Rodgers and Enzo Fernandez out. So I would definitely consider something like Enzo Fernandez to Semenyo. There are some interesting options in midfield at the moment. So if you want to be a bit more different to try to break into top 10k, you can potentially go for someone like Iwobi, Tavernier from Bournemouth. Soboslai, another option to triple up on Liverpool. But seeing that you you're benching Chalobah this game week. I think that Rodgers potentially can get one more chance. Home game against Chelsea. The thing with Rodgers is the fact that he usually does well against a good opponent. So home game against Chelsea might be a good fixture for Rodgers. So personally, I'm not really considering to sell Rodgers this game week. But if he blanks this game week as well, I might sell him ahead of game week 30. But you're already taking a couple of drops in price in for Rodgers. So I think that Enzo Fernandez probably is a priority sell at the moment. So Harry Wilson, I think I would just keep Harry Wilson. I talked about this 10 minutes ago as well. Really good fixture for Harry Wilson in game week 30 and game week 31. So especially if you're considering to use your wildcard in game week 32, I will definitely just keep Harry Wilson, even though if he's out for game week 29. The thing is that I'm a bit disappointed. I was expecting a bit more information from the press conferences today. So for my own team, I have Harry Wilson, I have Erling Haaland as well, and I also have Rice. So 3 flags, yellow flags in my team, but I'm not really sure what to do. I'm really considering to sell Erling Haaland to shake things up. The thing is that, of course, there is a big risk involved because I think that he will be the player with the highest effective ownership for game week 29 as well. So we're at call it Django, definitely another option. The thing is that I've seen a couple of predicted starting 11s for Brentford without Django Tara in them. So Lewis Potter starting as right wing for Brentford is something that's rumored, but this would probably mean that Django Tara gets a rest this game week, but nothing confirmed. Just seeing some rumors about this. So bringing in Django Tara ahead of game week 29 is could be a really good option, but I'm not 100% sure if he'll start. Munoz, Garner, or Rice. It's probably start one. Usually I would say Munoz, but so the thing is that Munoz, he has a lot of rooster points, one of the most attacking defenders, and of course he can pick up clean sheet points, but I would actually be tempted by Garner this game week, considering the fixture and considering his ownership as well. He is a differential. It's on some set pieces for Everton as well, and playing at home against Burnley. The fixture can't be much better, so safest option is definitely to start Rice, Munoz, and Garner in that order, but I would be tempted to actually take a punt on Garner this game week. Awesome, thanks. I'll take your advice. I'm just scared if I remove Enzo and he actually returns this week. Of course, classic FPL, right? I've done this a couple of times myself, and usually we see that the most transferred in player ahead of a game week, he usually blanks, and one of the most sold players, at least if that player is not injured, can potentially do well. But might be the same story this game week. Erling Haaland, he is the most transferred out player. Next on the list is actually Rodgers. So 2 players that potentially might start and do well, both home fixtures. So Haaland and Rodgers might punish the sellers ahead of game week 29. So I get the feeling, but I think that considering the fixtures that Enzo is safe to sell. So you probably brought in Enzo Fernandez while Cole Palmer was injured. So I had Enzo Fernandez myself, but now with Cole Palmer back in the team, I think Enzo Fernandez is not that good of an FPL asset anymore. So now on set pieces, playing a bit deeper. So I think Enzo Fernandez is one we should consider selling. Team ID, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Black Sheep 80 points in game week 28. That's nice. Overall rank 389k. So some flags in this team as well. O'Reilly, Wilson, Rice, Erling Haaland. So kind of in the same situation as I am at the moment, with a couple of uncertainties in the team. Some issues in there. So Shalba, Konsa, Esri Konsa is in, Enzo Fernandez. The Kuiper against Arsenal, not the best fixture. So with this team, Rice, Harry Wilson. So with this team, you should definitely just have Erling Haaland in your starting 11 if you're not going to sell him. The Kuiper should stay on the bench. You can potentially start Shalba instead of Konsa. Start Keller instead of Dubravka. You have a triple up on Liverpool. Looks solid. Enzo Fernandez can actually potentially be sold. So let me know, Chad. Let me know your transfer plans and what you have in mind. Frank O'Brien, Gabriel Hill, Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Munoz, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Enzo Fernandez, Wilson, Thiago, Haaland, and Joao Pedro. Bench 3 of them. I have 1 free transfer and 2.9 in the bank. So bench 3 of those guys. Probably Hill should be on the bench considering you have Igor, Thiago. So Hill. It's between O'Reilly and Munoz. So Gabriel, Van Dijk, they should definitely start. So Hill should be benched, and it's between O'Reilly and Munoz. In midfield, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Enzo Fernandez, Wilson. So the thing is that you might actually need your bench. We might have a situation where who we bench doesn't really matter because we might need our bench this game week. I'm not sure if Rice will play. I'm not sure if Harry Wilson will play, but I think you should just have them in your starting 11 and hope that Hill, O'Reilly, or Munoz can do well if you need them. So Thiago should start. Haaland should start. I think I would just start Joao Pedro. So bench Hill, bench Munoz, and bench probably Enzo Fernandez. Hill, Munoz, Enzo Fernandez. Tough decision. Really starting to look like something I would be interested in bench boosting if the fixtures were a bit better, Frank. But Hill, Munoz, Enzo Fernandez. I would have Enzo first on the bench, O'Reilly, Hill last on the bench. And I would actually, at this point, I think I would just, you have a solid team already, so I would probably just bench those players and save my transfer. 2 free transfers heading into game week 30 might be a good idea. Do you think Tavernier minutes are guaranteed? I think that he definitely will start. So he played 10 minutes in game week 26, started in game, 27, started in game week 28. So I'm not sure if he will play 90 minutes, but I think he will start, even though there's a quick turnaround between game week 28 and game week 29. So if you're interested in bringing in Tavernier, I definitely think that he is a solid option going forward. So there's a gap between game week 29 and game week 30. So of course, this game week, especially this game weeks, is I mentioned the quick turnaround between game week 28 and game week 29. There is, of course, always a risk that players that have been out injured, like Tavernier, might be rested, but he will definitely get minutes to build up his fitness as well. So not sure if it's the best game week to bring him in, to be honest, but let me know if you have any other options. I'm actually considering for my own team to just bring in NGI. You worried about Holland captain football and stuff? Thanks for joining in. You worried about Holland captain? I'm not really considering to captain Erling Haaland. I think I will go for a differential this game week, but in the captain poll, Erling Haaland, he is... it's quite clear as well. 62% for Erling Haaland, 21% for Ekitike, 6% for Bruno Fernandes, 11% for the other category. So Erling Haaland, big captain favorite, even though he's yellow flagged, and we're not really sure if he will start, but I might actually sell him ahead of game week 29, to be honest. I'll probably sell Chalobah. I have 6.2 million in the bank for a defender. I think selling Chalobah makes sense considering the fixtures for Chelsea. So you can potentially sell Chalobah. I think Hill is a really good value asset at the moment, but in game week 29 playing against Brentford and Igor Thiago, so this is probably not the game week to bring in Hill. Anderson is confirmed to be fit, 4.5, really good fixture in game week 29, so downgrading Chalobah to Anderson can potentially be another option. You already tripled up on Liverpool, so no possibility to bring in Konate, so but selling Chalobah definitely an option ahead of game week 29. Just give me a minute. Let's see if there are any other teams posted on X. So this is one of my shortest streams ever. I have some plans and I have to go really soon. Actually attending, like, I'm not really sure what it's called, parental meeting, something like that, at my son's school. So that's the reason why this stream is a bit earlier than usual, and the fact that it's one of my shortest ever. But if you enjoy streams like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. I always have a Q&A the night before every deadline. So the deadline is usually on Saturdays, of course. So I usually have a Friday night Q&A. So if you're interested, I'm sorry, subscribe to the channel. So I actually have to go in a couple of minutes. Thoughts on Florian Wirtz and Haaland to Igor Thiago and Salah? It's a yes from me, to be honest. I'm considering something similar for my own team. So the XCM, yes. Of course, I said this a couple of times already. There is a risk involved in selling Erling Haaland. We can see this in the captain poll as well. He will have high ownership, in effective ownership in game week 29, even though he's yellow flagged. So Shaw the captain, I'm not really convinced. So I think Shaw is a decent option considering the fixtures for Brentford, but it's one of those players that with a quick turnaround between game weeks, I'm not saying that he won't start, but he's one of those players that potentially can play 60 to 70 minutes because they have other options. So Shaw the captain, I'm not convinced. Of course, it might pay off, but I'm not sure if I would captain Kevin Shaw this game week. Joshi posted my team. Look at X. Ooh. actually have to go in a couple of minutes. I will just have a quick look. Promise next stream will be longer. This, as mentioned, will be my shortest stream. It's actually because I don't have that much time today. Busy schedule. Let's just refresh this real quick. No name. I want Liverpool and Brentford assets. So with this team, I guess it's Calvert-Lewin up front with Krupe Jr. and Erling Haaland. Can't see the whole team at the moment, but to bring in Liverpool and Brentford in this team, potentially something like Timber to Van Dijk. Timber to Van Dijk and Florian Wirtz to Schade. So with this team, to bring in Liverpool and Brentford, I would do something like that. Timber, Van Dijk, Florian Wirtz to Kevin Schade. Gameweek 29 from Joshi. So this team looks good on paper. Oops. How does that look? Kelleher can go a bit like this. So Joshi, this is Joshi's team ahead of Gameweek 29. O'Reilly, Wilson, both flagged. I've said this a couple of times. I was actually a bit, not going to say frustrated, but disappointed in the news we got on today's press conference. I was hoping on a bit more concrete news ahead of Gameweek 29. So players like Harry Wilson, I'm not really sure if they will start, to be honest. So I think as Joshi is doing, just start Harry Wilson and hope for the best is all we can do at this point. So we will probably not get any more information ahead of the deadline. So we just have to follow our guts on the yellow flagged players. Django or Sar, probably Django. Definitely, if it's to bring in this game week, I would definitely go for Django Otara. If it's bench one, start one, I will probably start Django Otara as well. So they are in fine form when it especially when it comes to their attack. So Django Otara, even though he's actually been rumored to be benched this game week because of there are some predicted starting 11s from Brentford with let's see. Sorry, with Lewis Potter on the right wing, but this is not confirmed. Do you think Haaland will start? And what about selling Haaland for Thiago or Ekitike? It's 50-50 for me at the moment. It's really hard to tell. I think 50-50 is a bit harsh. I think it's more 60-40. I think Erling Haaland will start. But I'm a bit tempted to sell him, to be honest, especially given the fact they have a lot of fixtures coming up. He will blank in game week 31. Especially if you're using your wildcard, I think that Erling Haaland can be sold. He can easily be transferred in on a game week 32 wildcard. So if you're on a game week 32 wildcard, bench boosts in game week 33 strategy, I think it's definitely an option to sell Erling Haaland, especially if you don't have Ekitike in already. I think that he is a really good asset for the upcoming game weeks. Tavernier, I think Tavernier is a solid option. I've discussed him as well on this stream really quick. The thing is with Tavernier is that he might see limited minutes this game week. So he has been injured. He played 10 minutes in game week 27. Then he started in game week 28. Quick turnaround between game week 28 and game week 29. So there is a risk involved in bringing in Tavernier, but I think that especially from game week 30 and onwards, he will probably play most minutes. He is the talisman, at least he was for Bournemouth ahead of the injury, so he will probably continue taking their penalties. So Tavernier definitely one to consider bringing in. Is this the best game week, or can it potentially wait until game week 30? It probably could. Opinion on Mo Salah as a differential. I'm actually considering Mo Salah myself, so I definitely like Mo Salah as a differential. Of course, it's a punt. He hasn't really delivered recently, but the fixtures are really good, and we know that he is still on penalties for Liverpool. But thanks all for joining in. Thanks for all the questions. I'm terribly sorry. I have to go. So this is my shortest stream. Sorry about that. A lot of good questions. I would love to have a bit more time today to answer more questions and have a look at more teams. But if you're interested in streams like this, I always have a Q&A the night before every deadline, and I have deadline streams like this as well. So this is the shortest one. Terribly sorry, but if you want to join the next one, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks all for joining in, and hopefully I'll see you next time.